Oh, CBS, oh, CBS, how lovely are your mock drafts. And that's the final time you're going to be hearing me saying, welcome back to Mock to Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft. And I'm mocking, giving you my views, thoughts, and opinions. And today we're looking at Josh Edwards' mock draft. He's got a picture of Tom Brady up here. I can only assume we might be seeing quarterback going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. If you want to do a little bit of betting this Christmas weekend with games on Saturday and Sunday, then check out Underdog Fantasy. If you use promo code Broshmo when you sign up, they'll hook you up right from the get-go. Remember, bet responsibly, my friends. But let's go ahead, get into this sucker. The draft order should be up to date, as this was put out yesterday prior to the Thursday night game. Oh man, what a game that was. May have sealed the deal for Zach Wilson in New York. Maybe we might see him come back. But we got the Houston Texans going Bryce Young. Oh my gosh, what a surprise. No, it's legitimately the best pick that they can make, in my opinion. I was talking with someone last night. Gojo's excited about Bryce Young, but I was talking to someone last night, and for me, it's like, listen, you don't know what next year's quarterback class is going to be like. You don't know how it can change in a year's time. But we could all anticipate that Caleb Williams is going to be like this, must-get prospect at the quarterback position. But you don't know where you're going to be drafted. If you're not drafted first overall, you're probably not getting Caleb Williams. You can't anticipate where you're going to be drafted next year, and then you wait a year, you put yourself in this situation where you're going to have to shelf out all this capital and maybe even draft capital to move up just to get him. You're at that spot right now, here and now. Is that Luther Vandross? Here and now. I think it's Luther. Not positive, but you're here and now. Go ahead, take Bryce Young. He is totally worth the first overall pick, in my opinion. We'll be doing prospect rankings maybe to close out the year next week. I know that some of the bowl games haven't commenced yet, but I want to get it out at least a good portion before the Senior Bowl. So might be doing some of our prospect rankings then. Let's go ahead and get into this next pick, being the Chicago Bears, Jalen Carter. Matt Eberflus, he loves the defensive line. You can make a good case that Will Anderson could be the pick here, but we saw that he wanted to really go out and get a guy like DeForest Buckner. Granted, it wasn't like he was pulling all the strings there back in Indy as the DC, but maybe we we're just trying to fill in puzzle pieces here to kind of project where these picks can go, and maybe they want to address the interior before they get to the outside, so they go with Jalen Carter. Really, you can't go wrong with either or. I assume Seattle Seahawks are going to be getting Will Anderson here. They go Will Levis. Flip. Balls to the wall already, CBS. I see you. Seattle has a golden ticket as part of the Russell Wilson trade with Denver. The Broncos would probably rather have whichever quarterback they could take here at number 3 than Wilson, and his contract's moving forward, and that was only part of the trade package. Okay, they're using this to talk crap about the Russell Wilson trade. Deservedly so. But listen, I make this case for the Cardinals as well, that not the Cardinals, the Lions, that listen, this pick kind of changes if Will Anderson and Jalen Carter are on the board, because I think that those prospects are probably considerably better than CJ Stroud, or in this case, Will Levis. If it's Bryce Young, I think I'm taking Bryce Young. However, with Will Anderson still on the board, I think as Seahawks, I would just go ahead and take Will Anderson and just move forward with Geno for now, and maybe you could find maybe at your next pick, maybe there's a quarterback there that falls. Or even maybe look to one next year, or maybe later in the draft. But I think you're in position here. Go ahead, take Will Anderson. It's not exactly the same scenario for the Lions who'll be picking here at 5. So it's like, for me, I'm more willing to go with a Stroud. I guess in this case, Will Levis. I'm more willing to take that there at 5 than I am at 3. Will Levis, again, I kind of feel like we beat this horse to death. Either you get over the decision making or you don't. I get why a lot of people love Will Levis, though. There's a lot of tantalizing tools coming from a NFL-ready offense. It's very translatable, that where he was under 2 offensive coordinators who have spent considerable time in the NFL. So there's you think that at least the learning curve is not going to be that large. So I get why people like Levis. Let's see what the Cardinals do here at... Oh no, this is Detroit Lions. What? Here, I want to quickly check out what all he said about the draft order. The draft order below is now the official order based on the team's records and tiebreakers. Okay, maybe, I don't know. Well, anywho, I guess it's Detroit Lions here at 4. They get Will Anderson. Again, I kind of said this with the Seattle pick. This pick kind of changes with Will Anderson and Jalen Carter on the board compared to, like, for Seattle, compared to what it would for Detroit. However, Will Anderson is on the board here, so yeah, okay, I don't mind y'all taking him here. Pick 5 will be Kelee Ringo going to the Cardinals. They need cornerback help desperately. They need pass rush help desperately. Those are 2 positions that they like, their last 2 picks in the first round were spent defensively. They were at the linebacker position, one of the more devalued positions on defense. You get better value from guys that play corner, that can rush the passer. That's just the case when you're looking at positional value. So it's like, I don't mind them going defense again, because it's like you failed to get positions of value with your prior picks. Offensive line could be in the cards as well. Kelee Ringo, though, 5, like, I don't know, man. It's such a toss-up right now. Who's the top corner in this class? Everybody has a different opinion on it. All right, we got pick 6. Indianapolis Colts, C.J. Stroud. You don't think twice. You need a quarterback moving forward. C.J. Stroud will be that quarterback for the Colts, at least in this scenario. And then pick 7, the Atlanta Falcons go with Myles Murphy. I absolutely love Myles Murphy. Add him next to Arnold Ebiketie, or at least opposite of Arnold Ebiketie, I think is very sexy. And Myles Murphy, we're talking about a guy who I think is going to test out very similarly to Travon Walker, but has a little bit more polished, though he is a bit unpolished himself as a pass rusher. But the production has been there compared to what it was with Walker. Big fan of Myles Murphy. The Falcons are another team that could go a variety of different spots. All right, on to the Carolina Panthers. Peter Skoronski, yes, sucks. Quarterback's not here, but with Anthony Richardson, you don't necessarily have to. You don't have to go with him here if the other 3 aren't on the board. I think we all get that, at least we all project Richardson to be a bit of a developmental guy. He's probably going to have to at least sit for a season. So if you're not comfortable with that inside the top 10, then okay, go with whoever your top prospect is. Peter Skoronski is a bit interesting because you make this selection, he's playing guard. Like, you got Ken McWanu at left tackle. You got Taylor Moton at right tackle. You grab Skoronski here. He's probably playing guard or center. Either right guard or center. It's one of the 2. So, I'm not in love with this pick. Like, I really like Skoronski. It's just the case that they already have their tackle set. So, here, I want to read this. I'm not in love with this pick. The Philadelphia Eagles go Bijan Robinson. Miles Sanders, he's a free agent. Okay, bam. Now, that's why this pick is being made. Bijan's great. Everybody, like, he's a top 10 player at a position that's really not even top 20. That's like fringe first at the running back position. So Bijan's going to be high on some other people's big boards. I try to take into consideration positional value. So that, and like even with that, like Bijan for me is still a top 20 player, but yeah, I feel like there's better value to be had. Maybe like a Brian Brazee. You go with that next pass rusher, whether it's Tyree Wilson, Jared Verse. Corner, you go with one of the top corners in this class. I've been an advocate for Christian Gonzalez because I think he's just a very good scheme fit for what the Eagles have done this year schematically in terms of coverage. So, there's my take. All right. The Las Vegas Raiders are taking Christian Gonzalez, the guy I was just speaking of. He's actually be a good fit for Patrick Graham's defense. We know Rock Ya-Sin is a free agent after this season, so adding Christian Gonzalez would help. They when you look at it, there is a bit of, how you would say, not a lot of talent there at the cornerback position aside from Nate Hobbs. All right, the Jacksonville Jaguars are going Joey Porter. Hey, I actually kind of like this. Having him pair up with Tyson Campbell on the outside there. You know, you could probably get better at the cornerback position. I really think the Jacksonville Jaguars offensive line's pretty cheeks right now. And they could, and that was very evident in the Jets game. So like I don't mind them throwing draft capital that way. But I think they probably should bring in some good free agents there to at least challenge some of those spots. So, yeah, I mean, I like this pick regardless. We got the Houston Texans with their second pick going Tyree Wilson. They're like, yo, we need pass rush. Jerry Hughes is our best pass rusher, and he's probably going to retire soon. So, yeah, we need some help. I don't mind it. He's going to be an elite run defender. So, like, if Lovey's still in town, which I think he totally deserves to be, I can totally see the Texans going with a guy who's kind of needs some work as a pass rusher, but provides a lot in the run game in Tyree Wilson, who's kind of a bit of a freak for a guy his size. I do also like the idea of like Quentin Johnston, Jordan Addison with this pick to go with your franchise quarterback. All right, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers here going Paris Johnson. Big fan of Paris Johnson. I like him there on the Steelers as their left tackle of the future. Dan Moore, fine reserve. Fine reserve. But Paris Johnson gives them a little extra stank there that they need on the offensive line. All right, we got the Green Bay Packers going with Darnell Washington. What is this whole thing about Michael Mayer not being the top tight end in this class? Because this blows my mind. You're not going to tell me that Mayer doesn't have better movement skills than a guy like Darnell Washington. Darnell Washington is one of the most linear players in this class for a good reason. He's 270. Like, very good athlete. He's going to test out well in, like, terms of a 40 time. But, like test out well at that size. But, like, that's a lot of what he is. He's not going to give you that okie doke. I don't think he has a lot of natural ball skills either, though he's got strong hands. I think he's going to be competitive at the contested catch point, more so this red zone threat. Very good blocker. Like, first off, this is too rich. This is too rich for me. Second off, Michael Mayer's top tight end in this class. All right, pick 15, the Seattle Seahawks go Jared Verse. Big fan of Jared Verse. I like adding him there. I mean, they did go Will Levis. So I guess it's kind of a cool idea that, okay, you could get the next quarterback here. Because, I mean, okay, let's look at it vice versa. They get Will Levis, and then they get Jared Verse to add to that pass rush, opposed to going Will Anderson, and then I say they did want to go quarterback, Anthony Richardson. So it's like, okay, what haul would you rather, Anthony Richardson and Will Anderson, or Jared Verse and Will Levis? I think it's very interesting. I'm a huge fan of Jared Verse. All right, we got the New England Patriots going Trenton Simpson. I think Bill Belichick would love a guy this good in space that could I think he can play a variety of different spots that his skill set just allows. Like, you could kick him in the slot, you could play him in the middle of your defense. He's a very good blitzer. Whether it's you could even blitz him off the edge, but like, he's a very good blitzer in terms of shooting the A and the B gaps. So like, yeah, I think this is an interesting guy that could go here. Pick 17, the New York Football Jets. They don't go quarterback, but I do like to pick a Broderick Jones. Come in there, contend with what was it, Mekhi Becton in year 1. Move Elijah Vera Tucker out to right tackle. Bring back Connor McGovern, who is a very underrated center in the league. Laken Tomlinson, you're kind of tied to that contract, I think, for another year, so hopefully he gets better. And Nate Herbig, bring that dude back. He's been really good. So, like, bam, there's your offensive line. All right, Detroit Lions are going Michael Mayer. I mean, I really like what they have in James Mitchell. If you want to make a case James Mitchell's more of a tight end too, I think that's okay. Michael Mayer does bring it a bit different because Mitchell's more of this guy with good launch speed, could break one in a minute. I think like over his course of his career at Virginia Tech, he was averaging 15 yards per reception. Michael Mayer's a bit different. He's this cat that is going to be a very good run blocker. He's got decent movement skills. He's going to be a good security blanket, very reliable hands. He does a good job getting separation at the stem of the route and using his arms to get that separation. And I'm a big fan of Mayer. So what? They walk away with Mayer and Will Anderson. So kind of a good haul. I would consider those guys top 15, top 12 players in this class. All right, the Bucks are indeed going Anthony Richardson. That Tom Brady pitcher was foreshadowing. So Anthony Richardson needs a sit. It's no guarantee that Tom Brady will be with the Bucks next year. If he's not, then I mean, you're looking at Kyle Trask, because you're not going to want to start Anthony Richardson this early. Isn't that kind of funny? Tampa Bay team are going to have like 2 Florida quarterbacks on the roster. I would say Kyle Trask should be ready to see the field. However confident they feel in him, I don't know. You'll see. But Anthony Richardson is be the guy you are developing. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting what happens in this class. Pick 20, Tennessee Titans go Quentin Johnston. Forgot he was on the board. Forgot no one went receiver yet. I like this, man. I think he's a bit more polished as a route runner than Burks, but both of them, it's not like neither of those guys really ran crazy route trees. Johnston, I think, offers a bit more maybe than Burks was. I would say their long field speed's comparable. If not, Johnston might be better. Obviously, Burks is the better contested catch guy. Not contested, or after the catch guy, while Johnston's probably the better contested catch guy. Though I would say they're very similar in that regard. Maybe you're looking for more of a separator here if you really want to address the receiver position, and Jordan Addison might be a better get. Or at least what in terms of what they should be looking for. But nonetheless, man, I like Quentin Johnston. Pick 21, Washington Commanders are going Cam Smith. So what? We've seen Porter, we've seen Gonzalez, correct? There's Porter. Yeah, we've seen Gonzalez, we've seen Ringo. So Cam Smith is that last corner in there, kind of vying for the cornerback 1 spot here, going to the Washington Commanders. We know corner is probably the biggest need for Washington right now. Maybe franchise quarterback, depending on how they feel about Sam Howell. I love to meet Sam Howell in the 2022 class, but Cam Smith would be a nice addition across of Benjamin St. Jude's there. Then you got obviously Cameron Curl there, playing mainly box slot guy. Then you have Derek Forrest, who's played very well as a split high guy. Bobby McCain obviously could be upgraded from, and maybe like a Brian Branch would be sexy. I don't know, man. I mean, obviously you can't be picking Brian Branch if you want Cam Smith. I mean, there's other guys. I always thought Jeremy Reeves deserved a shot to contend there. Maybe he does. I don't know. The Chargers are going Brian Brazil. Forgot he was still on the board. Good players fall in the draft, so I don't mind it. He would kind of be what they wanted from Jerry Tillery. So I like this. This is a dude that'll instantly bring a pass rushing presence. Very good run stuffer as well. The New York Football Giants are going Jackson Smith-Njigba. Listen. Let me bring Gojo in for this one. Gojo, you got any opinion on this? Oh, you're just walking away. Okay, bud. All right, so listen. Some people feel Jackson Smith-Njigba can play on the outside. I got my doubts. I don't think he's this extraordinary athlete. I don't think he's gonna have a lot of speed. You'd be like, well, neither did Cooper Kupp. Cool. Cooper Kupp plays like 65% of his snaps in the slot. Jackson Smith-Njigba played 94% of his snaps in 2021 in the slot. Hamstring injury didn't allow us to see much of him this year. Hopefully it's not a soft tissue thing, because that's something that can be very detrimental to stock. So that's something we won't really find out till the combine. So it's like you're grabbing a guy who already feels what Wandale's doing. Wandale, when he returned from injury, he was being used almost exclusively in the slot. These are two similarly rolled players, in my opinion. Some people believe he can play on the outside, and I just don't think there's enough proof for me to be willing to take him in the first round. To say, oh yeah, he's an outside receiver. Like if I'm a team looking for that slot guy that can be a stud, then yeah, I might be willing to take him there at the back end of the first. If I'm looking for an outside receiver, like this ain't it. At pick 25, we got the Baltimore Ravens going Jahmyr Gibbs. Why does everyone think the Ravens need a running back? See, the only time I'll take running back for the Ravens if Bijan's available, because Bijan's just a freaking monster. He's next level. But Gibbs isn't on that level, in my opinion. He just isn't. I guess pairing up with J.K. Dobbins, it's like, okay, cool. This is what they maybe were hoping Justice Hill could be. But it's not worth that much. Like Jordan Addison's on the board. Like, shoot, you brought in Deshaun Jackson. Just go ahead, get Jordan Addison here. Get some receiving help because they're bringing back Lamar. There's no world I can conceive where Lamar is not a Raven next year with a long-term deal. I just don't. So much of their offense is tailored around Lamar Jackson that they insert Tyler Huntley and it's just like, I don't know if any quarterback could honestly operate that offense. Obviously they do things different when there's a different quarterback in, but it's just like offensively that team's really only being successful with Jackson at the helm. So it's like, I don't know, man. Like, there's no way I believe Lamar Jackson's playing anywhere else. But it's the NFL. Never say never. All right, Denver Broncos with this pick go Antonio Johnson. I'm more of a Brian Branch guy. But if you like Antonio Johnson, I think he's a good get to play next to Justin Simmons. I don't mind it. Like, for me, Antonio Johnson's a top 50 prospect. I'm not probably... I was never really in love with him as most people were. But I think now it's kind of like, at least my take compared to where most people have him, kind of now met in the middle there. Not even. Everyone's come back to where I believe he should, where I was having him. So, yeah, no. We didn't meet in the middle. I went 10%. They went the next 90. Anywho, though, Johnson, I'd still be taking Brian Branch, but I can understand. Maybe schematically why this works out better. Dallas Cowboys are taking Brian Branch, though. He's the next guy off the board. I absolutely love Brian Branch. Very unique athlete that's very good against the run. Might be the best run defender in this class, regardless of position. Is a guy that can play deep, play in the box, play in the slot. He played that star role. I think he could probably play on the outside if you want him to, but I think ideally you're probably playing him at safety. Cincinnati Bengals are going Osiris Torrent, so they're upgrading that left guard position. I imagine that's the position they would look to upgrade with this pick. Off of who do they have there? Did Cordell Volson, the North Dakota State former tackle, now guard. Yeah, you could probably upgrade from that if you want. If you're hoping Jonah Williams and La'el Collins will be better in year 2 as Bengals. Tackle, I think, is still on the table here. Kansas City Chiefs are going Nolan Smith. This is so interesting because this isn't exactly a... Like, he's just not what you would consider a Spagnuolo guy. But good defensive coordinators will tailor their scheme around what they have, their playmakers, what they're best at. And Nolan Smith, such a good run defender at his size, I think a lot of teams might be willing to be like, you know what? Yeah, he may not be our typical cup of tea as a edge defender, but like at that size, he is a very good run defender. And we're willing to bet on all those athletic traits panning out and him being a very, very dangerous pass rusher. All right, Minnesota Vikings. Go Devon Witherspoon. I love Witherspoon. You turn on his tape and you're like, my gosh, man, this guy's got length. He's got physicality. He appears to have at least good long field speed. Like we've seen this cat, not so much vertically. Like he's not really been tested that way. But like you see it from like sideline to sideline, man, that guy can really haul his butt. I don't know why I worded it that way, but we could all agree that the Vikings need some cornerback help. Then pick 31, we got the Buffalo Bills going Dawand Jones, the big boy. Spencer Brown has been terrible. I remember in my Buffalo Bills deep dive, I was like, man, hopefully Spencer Brown takes a step up, man. He hasn't been good, and people try to come to his defense, and watching him play bad this year, I'm just like, quit playing yourselves, guys. But Dawand Jones now comes in. Offensive line, I think, actually ends up being the biggest need for the Buffalo Bills, whether it's right tackle, whether it's the guard or center positions, wherever they want to address. Osiris Torrance is kind of an ideal pick here for the Bills, but Dawand Jones, I think, is good as well. And then with the final pick is the Philadelphia Eagles, and they are going Felix Anudike Uzama. After picking Bijan Robinson earlier in the draft, they get an edge rusher here, preferably. You know, you'd want to get maybe an interior guy, but really I think if you're not picking a defensive interior with that first pick, you're probably not going to pick here at the back end. Like there's a guy like Siaki Ika who's kind of fringe, but you got Jordan Davis. That's why I think Brian Brazee would be a solid pickup. Like Gervin Dexter, I have to get back to. Alex apparently didn't like his tape at the end of the year. I haven't really watched too much of him down the stretch, so be interested. Though he lit it up at the beginning of the year, so hoping it's not bad as Alex from Hail Mary Sports, of course, was making it sound. Oh, Gojo, you think he is bad? Oh, buddy. I had no idea. Well, shoot. What other defensive interiors are there to pick of here at the back end? Nobody? Nobody. So, I mean, we can talk about edge. We can talk about there's a plethora of corners. Fine, I'll let you out, buddy. You know what it was? He really hated the Nolan Smith pick for the Chiefs. Gojo, huge Chiefs fan. But yeah, I mean, I guess I could see why they would go edge here. Like, I think that's another spot they love depth along the trenches in general. So I don't know, maybe. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing, and as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later. Enjoy your Christmas.